Hello and welcome everybody. Once again we're live in your show Think Big and Be Inspired. Today is a special Saturday. We have a guy who is like big expert in sales and marketing, and he has a network of around 300,000 followers and more on LinkedIn. Very experienced, very kind, very authentic. So please tell us all where are you tuning in from, and let's welcome our good friend here, Joseph Saheb. Joseph, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. It was a fantastic introduction. It's an absolute pleasure to obviously be on your show. We've been connected for a little while, brother, and it's an honor. You've had some amazing, or rather, I should say, you are having some amazing conversations with a lot of people from around the world. So and I think this pandemic time, right, when we're so dependent on digital media, just brought the world even closer than before, in my opinion, because we are just at this present moment just working out how how important it is to hone into the importance of digital connection. And also, it's not just connection; just doesn't happen face to face. It can happen. It just doesn't need to be in person. It can just be via online, etc. I mean, we've never met face.
Yeah.
It's like I've known you for years, so that's a lovely part, right? So yeah.
True, it's my honor, and the feeling is the same, and it's very nice that we got finally to meet, and it's the first time to be on LinkedIn Live, so it's great. We have some people coming in, sort of sending his regards.
Yep.
Rajendra also sending his regards, and Ahmad Musa.
Lovely.
Hey guys, nice to see you both.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Joseph, as I introduced you, have great experience in sales and marketing, and I noticed also, because I'm a big supply chain fan, that you worked for some time also in end-to-end supply chain. Was a surprise for me. Tell me about your experience in this Minuteman press and owning a franchise. How did you deal with this? And tell me about this experience.
That was absolutely that was a fantastic experience, of course. So Minuteman Press, as a lot of you may know, is the world's largest digital printing franchise. It's the headquarters of it is in Long Island, New York. So me and my business partner, we decided in the year 2000 and
yeah, Joseph, lost you a little bit. Joseph?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I lost you a little bit when you started saying 2000, and then I lost you a little bit. Tell me.
8. So me and my business partner, we sort of we decided to do something on our own, and we started up Minuteman Press. We went for a franchise entrepreneur franchise show being held in Melbourne at that time. We saw a lot of different companies. The thing that really it was really which attracted us the most to the concept of Minuteman Press was because we both, I mean, like I'm from a finance background, and so is he, and so we were like, we don't know anything about printing, and the franchise person from Minuteman Press, who had come in from the US at that time to Melbourne, said that, listen, business is all about having or being able to connect with the other person. How are you all in being able to go out and speak to people and build relationships? That's all that a franchise business, or any business for that matter, is all about. And we were like, yeah, I mean, we were pretty good at it because we are both from a sales background, so both our jobs were basically client facing, company.
Yeah, Joseph, we lost you again, but yes. I think Joseph has a little bit problem in connection, but we're still live with Joseph, and we're discussing Joseph's story and on entrepreneurship and owning a franchise. And he will be with us again. Yeah, he's joining us again, I think. Yes.
Okay, I may go off for 30 seconds, but just give me give me 1 second. I'm just trying.
Sure. Well, we have here Osama joined us. Thank you, Osama. Sharif Basyuni also, thank you so much for joining us. And Rania Nafla, thank you so much for joining us also, and thank you so much for your usual support. Nadal Hekel, thank you so much also for joining us. We are just here live with Joseph and facing some technical issues, and I think Joseph will be back with us in a few seconds. Shrink Shah, thank you so much also for joining us, and we're happy to have you in. Osama, thank you so much. Joseph is killing it. Yes, like always, Joseph is an amazing guest. Liliana, thank you so much also for joining us.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little bit cutting. Maybe if you can,
Ahmed?
I think, yeah, I think maybe disconnect and connect again, and I'll wait for you. I think no issues. Maybe there's something with the connection. It's still cutting a little bit, and the picture is freezing. I think maybe disconnect and connect again to the same link. If you can hear me. Yes, Joseph will be back with us in seconds. Thank you so much, everyone, of course, for tuning in. And you know that these issues happen always when you're going live, and it's part of going live. Helen is not showing on LinkedIn. I think it will show now, Helen, on LinkedIn for sure, because here it's showing me that's showing on LinkedIn. Joseph, welcome back.
Oh goodness, that's better. That's better. All right. Let's take it from the top. Right. Let's take it from the top. I apologize. It's very
it happens.
Interesting though.
It happens. I can tell you that one time full did it, and it didn't go at all live, and it was. But these things happen, yeah. Joseph.
Can you hear us?
Thank you, Sora, for joining us. Yeah, I can hear you, but still there's a little. Yeah. Now it's good. Let's go. Let's go. Good.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah, it's see, this is the beauty about technology, right?
Yes.
You know, so this just shows that this is not pre-recorded. We're not just playing a tape. This is life. This is life. You know, things
yes,
which
exactly.
things that you don't expect happen out of the blue. It's how you adapt to it. And you know, and
exactly,
Ahmed, you know what I always say, right? You know, adaptability is no longer a soft skill anymore. It's a life skill. And you know, if you're not being able to be adaptable in your life, both personal and professional, then honestly, you know, there's not much you can do. So, anyways, but sorry, going back to where we were discussing about Minuteman Press. Well, Minuteman Press. So me and my business partner, we both decided to open up our our own business as well on the side, and we went to a franchise exhibition. And the thing that really sort of struck out to us was even though we had no idea, or rather at that moment had no idea to deal with in the supply chain or in the printing sector, etc., because we're both in the financial services sector, we're both in client-facing roles, both in sales and business development and marketing strategy, etc. But we never knew anything about printing. And the person actually told us that you really don't need to know anything about printing. The thing about having or rather owning your own business is to be able to communicate effectively what you are doing and how you can help your customer in his or her journey. And that's where the effective communication comes in. That's where, you need to be able to connect in a heart-to-heart manner, if you know what I mean. And that's the most important aspect with regards to business or having your own business. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to be able to make sure that you're being able to connect with the people, who is your target clientele. So that's how we started with Middleman Press. It was a fantastic journey, of course. I left the company, or I left the partnership once I moved from Australia in 2013 to Singapore. But it was a brilliant journey. Met so many amazing people, got to learn about an industry or a sector which honestly I had no idea about. But it's all about putting in the effort. Like a lot of people nowadays, they talk about or they expect things to happen without putting in an effort. If you don't put in the effort, nothing will happen for you. It's just not about having the right attitude, but actions are what determines your success or failure, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So so that was my stint, I would say, into having my own business, franchising, so to speak. I've always, in a way, been an independent consultant as well, because I do consult with companies from around the world. So that entrepreneurship streak has always been there. But it was a really interesting experience, especially in supply chain and logistics in a way. Making sure dealing with customers and suppliers from different sectors, different countries, different sizes, etc. Which was interesting. It was very, very interesting, and it just opens up a whole new layer of different elements which are there in the economy in a way. So it was a great experience. It's definitely something which I cherish very deeply in my heart. Not just because it was a brilliant business. It was with one of my best friends, like a brother who's still in Melbourne, and not also because it was in Melbourne, but it was because it was really something that opened my eyes to a lot of different opportunities which I had no idea about, because that Minuteman Press was my first stint into entrepreneurship. So that's where it sort of set itself apart in a way.
Great, yeah, that's why I noticed this, because I always like in the show to see people changing, moving from corporate to entrepreneurship, and how it felt at the beginning. And it's great, of course, that you moved to a new industry. And as you said, it's all about the effort, putting like 10x extra effort, especially when it's something totally new to you and totally new industry. And it's also heart to heart, like you said, and it's all about the trust. We have Dr. Lapsing here, is sending her regards. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Lapsing, and Olga also sending her regards. DJ Durant, hello DJ. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone who's joining in. Apologies for the technical glitches towards the start of this. Really apologize. I guess that's how it is sometimes. It's a live. We just have to,
it is especially nowadays. Everyone is going live. Everybody's going on meetings. So these problems happen a lot. Yeah. So Joseph, years of experience, as you're saying, years of experience in sales and marketing and working B2B and B2C. For people who are working in marketing, can you tell us quickly, how do you differentiate between working business to business, business to customer in your campaigns and your marketing campaigns? What's the main difference between the approach of business to business and business to customer?
Now that's a great question, okay? Because a lot of people are like, B2B, I'm a B2B specialist, I'm a B2C specialist, and stuff along those lines. And okay, so before I say the differences, I'd like to bring up one very important similarity. Now, what do I mean by that? So it doesn't matter whether it is business to business or it's business to consumer. Okay, it doesn't matter. The main thing is, even if it is business to business, there is always a human element attached to it, because a company is not speaking to a company. An individual from a company speaking to an individual or a group of individuals in another company, even in a B2B sector. So instead of perhaps looking into it as a B2B and a B2C, you should look into it like a lot of people say, a H2H, which is a human to
human to
human
human. True.
interaction. So the similarity in both B2B and B2C, what I'd like to say is, like, you will always have that human element. And this is what, my co-founder of Create the Edge, Joy, he says beautifully. He says that, it's a business of the heart, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's all about being able to connect with the other person, with their real needs and requirements, etc. But with the key differences, there are a few differences, of course, like, the way you approach a sale, obviously, the volumes are different. The number of people who you're pitching to are different between B2B and B2C, etc. But if there is one thing, if you ask me, what is the main difference of a B2B and a B2C, essentially, B2B is logical and rational, while
Yes.
B2C is purely emotional in a lot of contexts.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
I think that is what, if you can focus on those two elements, which is logical, rational, and emotional. So if a person who is both a logical thinker, but is also able to connect with a client, with regards to their emotional requirements, you can do both. Okay, as simple as that. So that is the main thing. That is the main thing. Main difference between B2B and B2C, I would say that B2B focuses more on a logical and a rational approach and decision-making process, while B2C is more an emotional decision-making process.
Yeah, I agree with you, and of course, the emotional, like how you connect emotionally with your consumers. This is the key, of course, in the B2C especially. And I worked in marketing also for some time, and I love marketing, and also I like your. Co-founder, I think you're talking about Joy Abdullah. He's amazing. Shout out to Joy, of course. He's an amazing marketing expert. I like a lot his content. Prag Meta here is saying, believe the key focus remains the same for both, and the level of focus for business excellence, customer service, and shareholders' values remain the same. Agree with Prag Meta. Thank you, Prag. Dr. Lapsing here is saying you have many stakeholders in business chain, so communication with each one has to have different approach. How you manage the communication channels with each one? Do you we can take this question?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's a great question, Dr. Singh. Obviously, the communication channels at this present moment is the same. The way you communicate with either of your B2B or a B2C clients is the same. Now, what do I mean by communication? You're talking about, let's say, for example, even your AdWords on Google. That's a part of your communication as well. Your emails, your phone calls, your SMS updates, your WhatsApp updates, whatever it be. They're all part of that entire communication journey with your client, because you're looking at a 360 element. Okay, it's complete circle. From start to finish, you need to be part of your client's journey throughout the entire process. It's not just on the onboarding. I think the majority of the journey actually, or the importance actually, starts after the client is onboarded, because every single person who parts with money to buy a product will have something called buyer's remorse. And this is where your customer service element of what you do or what your team does actually ensures whether that client is a one-time client or is it a repeat loyal customer who's going to actually provide moving forward. But to address your question, how do you manage the communication channels with each one? In a B2C, it's very clear. So what I'm trying to think is you're trying to ask us to how do you communicate with the person who's making the decisions. So the B2C channel, there's one person generally, which is the consumer directly, and you're making sure that you have given them all the emotional elements that they need to connect to with regards to their purchase decision. And you already know who that person is, right? In a B2B, it's the same thing, because you're still connecting with one person or a group of people. But it's absolutely essential for you to understand, especially in a B2B environment, that the decision maker may be different, completely different to actually the person who is basically parting with the money.
Yes.
Okay, it can be completely different. Like, for example, the decision maker, it could be the CEO, but the person who's actually writing you the check is the CFO, right?
Yeah.
So to give you a very, very simple example. So that's where you need to make sure that you have you are ensuring that you're communicating effectively with mainly the decision maker first, because that is the person whose real needs and requirements you need to meet along the way. The person who's paying you will be basically, in a way, directed by the decision maker to make those payments, or that purchase decision, so to speak. But that's where I guess in your communication channel in a B2B environment, you really need to ensure as to who that decision maker is. The decision maker could be anyone in the organization. A lot of people feel that the decision maker is the one who's right at the top. No, it generally is not the case. I'd say, and in all my experience, I would say about over 17 years of experience in the marketing sector across multiple countries, I would say that only about 30% of the time, the decision maker is the CEO or the managing director. You will normally have your decision maker could be the secretary, the secretary. It could be the PA. It could be, a department head. It could be a general manager. It could be anyone. So that's where you need to ensure that you're communicating effectively with the actual decision maker. And that's where another very important element of sales, marketing, and in my opinion, entrepreneurship comes to light, which is active listening.
Yeah.
You don't listen to reply, you listen to understand. And that's where you need to be asking all the relevant questions. You need to be able to, go deeper into exactly, what they are looking at, what they want out of it, what their real needs and requirements are. And you're actually, getting that feedback out of them, and you're helping them along their journey. So honestly, there is no difference in approach in the communication strategy between your B2B and B2C, because you're both, in both situations, you're communicating with an individual. And that is something which a lot of people need to understand. And especially in today's world, I think B2B and B2C, the line between both B2B and B2C is completely blurred. It's completely H to H, as we were talking about, which is human to human. So I hope that answers your question.
I think it's clear, human to human emotions. You must know who is the decision making, so that you can target your message clear and get to the market and get the sale, of course. Joanna here is also joining us. Thank you, Joanna. And Sina Gulubi, thank you, Sina, for tuning in. Thank you so much. Joseph, tell us about tell us about the Global Goodwill Investor. How did you get to start also this, and how is this important to you? How it affected your character and all this charity work? Tell us about it.
Well, see, I mean, this was a very interesting element with regards to Global Goodwill Ambassadors, GGA, right, as we like to call it. So I joined LinkedIn on the 5th of August, 2018. So I've been on LinkedIn for just over 2.5 years now. Obviously, I used to do a lot of social work. I do a lot of my social work for animals. I've worked with the Guide Dogs Victoria in Melbourne for a while, which is the seeing eye dogs. So basically, people who are vision impaired, the seeing eye dogs, etc. So Guide Dogs Victoria, I've worked for them. I've always been a volunteer, as well as an active supporter of the RSPCA, which is a Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. I'm a lifetime member of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF. So I do a lot of humanitarian causes with regards to animals, etc. Plus, I also do, used to do, and I still do, quite a bit of stuff for the elderly, for old age homes, etc. So those are a few things which perhaps I had included in my experience section, perhaps in my profile on LinkedIn. And then I had one of the people from the GGA team reach out to me from the US, asking me, a bit more information about what I do. And I'm always happy to sort of answer questions. I'm an open book, so that's the reason why Ahmed, when we were speaking, I was like, brother, you just ask me any question. I'm an open book. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. So they reached out and they asked me about my experiences, and based on obviously my humanitarian works that I do both for humans as well as animals, which I'm very, very passionate about. I'm a huge animal lover. So they decided to grant me the the moniker or the badge of being a global goodwill ambassador from Singapore. And it was a great experience. Obviously, my immediate country chair at that moment was Miss Suchi, who a lot of y'all would know.
Yeah, of course.
In Singapore. Yeah. So, and I've met some amazing people from the Global Goodwill Ambassadors, or rather through the Global Goodwill Ambassadors, people who have become like family, like, friends like family, literally, right? Some of them have become my inner circle. For example, Avi Sakalkar, he's a great guy. You've got Charu Mehrotra, Pooja Talesara, and of course, Kasturi Gunasegaran. So, I mean, we have become very, very close, and we've become like family, and it would never have happened if not for the Global Goodwill Ambassadors. So we were connected via the Global Goodwill Ambassadors, because I've been here in Singapore for almost 8 years now. However, I would never have met them if not for the GGA, because I hadn't known them, I hadn't known of them or heard of them if not for the GGA. So I mean, a lot of people have asked me, like, is it a paid work that you do with GGA? No, it's completely voluntary. It's about the giving back that you do to society and people around you, and that's the main thing. It's just the acknowledgement and the appreciation as a member of a global group of people who are givers. Let's just put it that way. So, but it does give you additional appreciation and encouragement, and it's allowed me to meet some amazing people who carry the same kind of vision and values, precisely, from around the world. So yeah, it's been great to be part of the Global Goodwill Ambassadors.
It's great, of course, and it's all about the values and community, great community, and the people, to meet people, different people, and now you're saying they're like family and friends. It's amazing journey. I think Joseph and Dr. Lab Singh, yes, she's saying thanks. She got exactly the question about the B2B and B2C.
Thank you.
We have here our friend joining from Delaware. Thank you so much. Simon also joining us. Simon Joyner, thank you for joining us. And Carl Sean Watkins, support, stopping to show support. Thank you, Carl, for joining us. Thank you so much. Our friend Tess Neyman, of course, thank you for joining us. Tess, of course, she's doing a great job for all job seekers around the world. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely. Diana Walsh from Ireland. We have a lot of people coming in, so thank you so much for joining us, everybody. So let's talk also about LinkedIn. You said that you joined like 2.5 years ago, and wow, you got like more than 300,000 followers. And the most important thing is that you add values on all your posts. Everybody really loves you. You help everybody really from your heart. So tell us about this, how it started, and when did you decide to post, and tell us about your story about in LinkedIn.
Fair enough. I mean, this is something which a lot of people ask. And honestly, Brother Ahmed, if you had asked me if we were having this conversation like perhaps a week after I joined LinkedIn in August 2018, and you'd be like, do you see yourself having 300,000 followers in like 2.5 years? I'd be like, you're joking, right? But it's been humbling. It's been absolutely humbling. I would never have expected it. I've always been a very active networker in person. And the only reason I joined LinkedIn was at that time in August 2018, I was actually in between jobs, and I was looking for a next career opportunity. And a few of my friends were like, "Why don't you have a look at LinkedIn? It's a great place for you to meet recruiters and possible bosses, etc., and interact with them and get to know each other a little bit better. There are jobs also which are advertised on there, etc. So I was like, okay, let's have a look at LinkedIn. So I came onto LinkedIn completely as a job seeker, looking at different opportunities, to being able to connect with recruiters, etc. That was my original my approach towards LinkedIn. I would say that only lasted for a couple of days. That approach of me being
Okay.
a job seeker on LinkedIn. I just fell in love with the community. Let's just put it that way. Like I do have a Facebook account. I do have Instagram. I do have Twitter. Yeah, I do have all the other standard stuff. But LinkedIn, the thing that really struck out to me was how supportive the global community is of each other, and how respectful people are as well. Yes, there will be trolls on social media everywhere, but the thing is, it's not like, in my opinion, it's not like the other social media platforms.
Okay.
It's a lot more respectful, it's a lot more helpful, and it's more conducive in a way towards collaborations moving forward. And it's a great way for people to know another person from around the world, to being able to collaborate with them on a venture or whatever. So that's what happened, and I realized that, and I started following, obviously, some of the amazing people on LinkedIn, like Bridget and Oleg and
Yeah.
Talal Al Murad and Anthony J. James and Ahmed Imam and Dino Pacella and people who
Yeah.
everyone knows on LinkedIn. And I just started following them. I just started following what they were doing, and basically I was just shadowing them in a way, which is a very important term in sales and marketing. So whenever you've got a new recruit in a company, you ask that person to shadow someone who's more experienced, because
Yeah.
you need to learn what they are doing, just so that you're not making mistakes, or your approach isn't something which is putting other people off. It's not that you don't know what you're doing. Like, obviously, I know how to communicate with people, but communication in real life is very different to communication on social media. And that's where it is important for people to follow those, who have been there and done that. And I started shadowing them, how they did their posts, how they have been engaging with their audience, etc. And it wasn't a brilliant experience. Like, if you scroll back long enough on my activities and on my posts, you will see my first post was a reshare which I did of Oleg Vishnopolsky's post. And till date, I think it only has like 3 views, and all 3 of them were mine. Not a single like,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
I mean, you have to start from zero somewhere.
Yeah.
And the other important element, which I'd like to just touch upon here, Ahmed, is so I reached my first 10,000 followers in 9 months from starting.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the 12-month period, I was only at about 50,000 followers. So August 2019, I was about 50,000 followers. And then, as soon as and then it just started increasing by leaps and bounds. So what I'm trying to say, it's like, if you are consistent at what you do, and if you keep on putting the same level of effort on a daily basis, and you're keeping on trying to provide value, it's all about setting the momentum. It's like, when you try and roll a boulder, right? You may only be able to move it an inch in the beginning, but then you move it an inch, and then it goes a little bit faster, and then it goes a little bit faster, and then it goes faster still, because it's gathered its own momentum by the time. So you need less effort to go further. So, but to reach that status of being able to get further, you need to have put that extra effort like 10 miles ago.
Yes.
So that's what LinkedIn is about. There are no shortcuts. Okay, I think this is one. I may be wrong. I don't know. But I think LinkedIn is one of these only platforms which is still very organic growth in a way. Like, I don't think you can buy followers and stuff along those lines. I don't think so. I mean, I've never heard of it. And I don't think you can get people to just comment, dump likes and comments and have bots doing it for. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people ask me, like, do I have a VA? I'm like, no. What you see on LinkedIn is me. Each and every comment that I make is me. Each and every like that I do is me. And I don't have a virtual assistant. I don't do it. And I've had a lot of people being like, you must be really busy. Yes, I am busy. I take time out of my day. I'm awake till maybe 1, 2 a.m. at night because I spend that 2 or 3 hours before I go to sleep between say 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., for example, to engage with my audience on LinkedIn. You have to put in the effort to get dividends. You can't expect returns when you don't put in the effort in the first place. So that's where I think it's important, my LinkedIn journey. So I'm really blessed. I'm really, really blessed. I just have so many amazing people from around the world who have had the chance to meet in person as well as online. And that would never have occurred if not for LinkedIn. So that's a bit of my journey. So I think, anyone who's starting off on LinkedIn, just keep at it, if you know what I mean. Now, Ahmed, I'm going to just jump into a question which I've just seen, and it's an interesting question asked by Gloria Kayolaba. She's just asked it. So she has asked,
Have pods helped in boosting your following? Yeah.
Have pods helped in boosting your following? See, that's an interesting question. Like, okay, so pods, message groups, support groups, however you like to call it, they are real. Okay. Have I ever been a part of a pod or a support group? Yes, I have. I still am, for example. But I would say in the last 18 months or so, I have never posted any content in those support groups myself. In the beginning, I have posted content in those support groups, but do they actually help in boosting your post, or do they actually help in boosting your followership, as you've asked, Gloria? I honestly don't think so. However, what I feel, because I've been part of a few support groups or pods, as you've asked in the past, it's not about boosting your content. I would say, to me, it was about meeting a lot more like-minded people and then interacting with them on a more personal manner to get to know them better. Okay.
Exactly.
You might be thinking like I'm trying to put a fanciful word with regards to pods, because a lot of people feel that pods or sharing in groups or support groups is like trying to game the system. No, it isn't. Like if you go to your post, if you do a post on LinkedIn, you've got the 3 dots on the side of the post, which allows you to share with anyone on any platform via WhatsApp, via a LinkedIn message, another post. You can send it through, you can post it as a blog, everything. So LinkedIn is not telling you not to do it. But I would say the significance of pods, and that's a great question. I'm sure a lot of people would have this in mind. I would say if you're starting out on LinkedIn for the first time, if you are invited to join a support group or a pod, I would say take that opportunity to do that. The only reason is not because it allows you to boost your post. No, because I personally don't think it makes any difference to your post. In fact, I think, in my personal opinion, in my own personal thing, whenever in the past when I used to post on a support group, my viewership on that particular post would be a lot lesser than it would be organically in some way. For some reason, I don't know why. Okay, but does a support group or a pod help you to get to know more people and being able to connect with them more meaningfully for the longer term? Absolutely. And I think that's why. And so see it as a support group. Like when you go to like support groups like AA, like Alcoholics Anonymous, right? You have those people around you who are in a similar kind of situation, who are there to support you through your journey. That's what a pod or a support group, in my opinion, is, especially for people who are new on LinkedIn. It's a great way for you to basically tap into, the brains or the minds of others around you who have been doing it for a little while. And then, for you to, follow them and see what they're doing and build a relationship on a more personal level moving forward. You never know. It could end up being a great friendship, or you never know. You might collaborate on a venture in the future. So my advice, if there's anyone on LinkedIn, who's starting out, join a support group or a pod if you're invited to it. Absolutely, because it will broaden your horizon and it'll allow you to meet people on a more personal level. Forget about boosting your posts or increasing your following or anything along those lines. No, doesn't work. I don't think it works. I've not posted in support groups or pods for years now. I used to be in pods. in the past and was very active in pods, but I don't think it actually boosts your posts. So if anyone has that question, I hope to have been able to answer that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's about maybe pods. It's about knowing people, building your community, having a tribe who are likely-minded like you. And exactly, it's fantastic in that. And I think it's not. It's always not about having how many followers, how many people are connecting with you. It's about the relationships at the end and collaborations, as you're saying. I totally agree with you. We have Dareen
Exactly.
also joining us. Dareen, hello. Hi, Dareen. Hi, thank you for joining us, Dareen. And we have a lot of people here joining us also. Sharif is sending his regards, saying well done. Tayyib Jiz joining us also. Thank you for joining us. Shahrazad Belamin, thank you for joining us also. Great topic of conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Really appreciate all the support.
yeah,
Honestly, for everyone, the questions that you'll have asked or are asking are, I think, really, really important. And in a way, it's something which a lot of people try to perhaps brush under the carpet because they're not sure, whether you'd be able to get a real response or just like a staged response. But absolutely keep the questions coming. Absolutely love it. And Gloria, you're most welcome. If you'd like to connect and if you'd like to know a little bit more with regards to my thoughts on that, please follow me. Please follow Brother Ahmed here. He's brilliant at what he does in connecting with people from around the world. But thank you for the great questions.
Thank you, everybody, of course. And I want to hear about the story of Create the Edge. Did you start it as a podcast or it's
Yeah.
like a marketing and sales business? And how did you get the name? And did you make the name yourself or with your co-partner? Tell us about this story.
Yeah. I mean, Create the Edge. The reason why Create the Edge started, it was very, very interesting, and it brings back some amazing memories because it started just over 2 years ago, in 2019, in January 2019, and that's when Joy Abdullah, who a lot of you would know from Kuala Lumpur, he's like my elder brother. In a way, I share a lot of things with him, and he knows about what's happening in my personal life, etc. And so we got connected on LinkedIn in about maybe October 2018. And the thing that really connected us, because we had a lot of similarities. So, both of us have our background back in Calcutta, India. We're obviously both Bengali, similar backgrounds, etc. in a way. Older, obviously, he's 20 years older to me, almost 20 years older to me. Sorry, Joy, if I made you older than you are. But but the thing is, it was just absolutely fantastic. So we decided, and both of us were at that stage in a place in our professional lives where we were both looking at a career change. And so even though I'm a sales and marketing background, I would say if I were to choose any of those, I would say I'm more of a sales guy because I'm more of an in-person, person-to-person element, while Joy is more of a marketing guru. So he's the one who basically, the processes and logics. I'm the more of the emotions and the actions, if that makes sense. So, and you need all four of those things to actually, keep going forward. So what we thought is like, okay, let's do like a video blog that we're going to do on LinkedIn. And we decided to start doing that based on our ideas and advice for certain industry sectors. So we started off with hospitality. So if you go to Create the Edge, season 1, episode 1, we don't have any guests. It's not a podcast. Okay. We are talking about our feedback on what people in the hospitality industry can do from a sales and a marketing approach. That's what we spoke about. So that was the birth of Create the Edge, and I'll tell you how we came across the name. But then what happened was, like, in the first episode, people really liked it. The second episode we also did along those lines, and then we were like, hold on, I think we should talk to people within our networks who are amazing from around the world, who have got their own story, whether they be an entrepreneur or whether they be a salaried employee. It doesn't matter. Everyone has their own story. and how have they created the edge over their
Wow.
competition, both in a professional or a personal manner. So the word create the edge, I love my acronyms. So if you're not connected with me and if you're not following me, I'll request you to go to my profile, which I'm sure Brother Ahmed will share, and you go to my about section. So create, the entire CREATE, it's an acronym. Edge is an acronym of words which we feel are absolutely essential in the relationship building environment through sales and marketing. So the name of the podcast, it was like a mutual brainstorm that Joy and I had at like 1 a.m. at night, sometime in December 2018. So that's when we just came up with the name Create the Edge. And then I came up with the acronym stuff. So yeah, that's how Create the Edge was born. And then we had the honor to be on LinkedIn for 2 years. The third season hopefully will be coming out sometime this year.
Great.
So keep a lookout. So Create the Edge season 3. Shout out to Brother Joy in KL. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. And apart from just the podcast, Ahmed, Create the Edge, what we also started, Joy and I, that's where we sort of came in as business partners in a way, to advise clients from around the world on their sales and marketing strategies with regards to any growth strategies that they're wanting to do, whether it be entrepreneurs or whether it be MNCs. And we've helped companies, or we worked with companies, both a two-person company, husband, wife, doing their own thing, and how to scale it up, and what are the different strategies that they can take on a digital manner, etc. And also with MNCs as well. So we've had the opportunity to having worked with quite a few amazing companies from around the world, using Create the Edge as our banner, so to speak, to bring together sales, marketing, strategy. Simple as that.
That's great, of course, and you capitalized, both of you have experience in sales, as you said, and Joy in marketing, and of course, I am sure you helped a lot of people in either companies or individuals to raise their level of sales and help them grow their business. We have here some questions. Let's take it. Ram here was asking of a podcast feature of any podcast. I don't know if he wants to start a podcast, and does it make an impact, I think, on LinkedIn followers or something like that, or your connections on LinkedIn. What's your take on that?
Sure. Ram, thank you for the question. I mean, I am not much of a podcast specific person, because the Create the Edge thing. Yeah, it is I call it a vlog cast, like a video blog, cast. But we don't transcribe it and put it on Spotify or anything. No, we've got it on our YouTube channel, etc. YouTube is like our repository. But we've not tried to monetize it in any way. What I feel what you're asking is like, for podcasts, the opportunity for you to being able to monetize it moving forward. Absolutely. I think the opportunities are endless. There are lots of amazing coaches who actually help in being able to assist you if that is something that you're wanting to do, to basically, brainstorm with you as to, the approach that you're having, or, what you're thinking of doing. If that is where, there is a requirement in the market, if that is a niche that you're actually being able to fill in a way by that podcast, etc. So I would definitely suggest that you speak to a few people. Just go online, have a look. You can search on Google, you can search on LinkedIn as well, with regards to coaches who talk about advice on how you can start your podcast. I would say that would be the first step. In my opinion, the future of a podcast or of podcasts is huge, because people are having less time to basically, stare at their phone screen all day. Okay. So podcast is something, especially if it's audio only, and that's where, there is this really this hot app, as I like to call it, Clubhouse, on the iPhone ecosystem. The reason I say iPhone ecosystem is because I don't use an iPhone, and that's the reason why a lot of my friends are like, when you're coming in Clubhouse, I'm like, I'm an Android user. So Clubhouse is just like a 24-hour running podcast. Literally, it's audio only, You're only listening to people. And that's the reason as to why I feel that audio only is a great way for people to look into moving forward, because you can do it without it sort of hampering with your day when you're commuting to work or you're driving. Even you can listen to it. So I think the future of podcasts is great. Impact on LinkedIn, I would say LinkedIn is and this is something which I'm not going to take credit for this. I think Gary V has said it. Gary Vaynerchuk has said it many times. LinkedIn is a Facebook of 2011. So
Yeah.
so absolutely, I think LinkedIn is absolutely fantastic. It is one of the only platforms right now, in my opinion, which has brilliant organic growth. And if you've got the right strategy, you've got amazing coaches here on LinkedIn as well, who advise you on what to do and how to talk about content strategy, etc. on LinkedIn. One person I would most definitely recommend if you want to speak about your digital presence and your video presence and content strategy, etc. on LinkedIn. That's brother Ahmad Imam from Sydney in Australia.
Yes.
He's brilliant at it.
Amazing. He's amazing.
He's got almost 1 million followers at this present moment, and he's brilliant. He's amazing. He's a brother. So follow him, see what he does, and if there is something that people are there on LinkedIn to help you. Simple as that. All you need to do is reach out with the right attitude and with the right level of conviction to follow through towards what your actual goals are. Action needs to be there. You need to do the hard yards. Nothing comes easy in life. And in LinkedIn, nothing is easy. Okay? You have to put in the effort consistently for you to see any dividends in return.
I agree with you, and shout out to Ahmad Imam. Yes, you're right. He's a great guy, of course, doing amazing on LinkedIn, and he's one of the great coaches you can follow, Ram. And Ram also, in 2 days after tomorrow, I advise you also to join us here and Think Big and Be Inspired. I have a great guest who's so good in podcasting, and she will share with us a lot about podcasts. So tune in also after tomorrow. And Saina here, let's take another questions about the definition of an influencer. What do you think about it?
Great, interesting question. Okay, firstly, I don't like the word influencer. So anyone tells me that I'm an influencer, I'm like, no, I don't like the word influencer, because the word influencer to me has a negative connotation. Why? Because influence is like I'm trying to get someone to do something that they ideally wouldn't have done on their own. So I'm basically manipulating their decision making. Okay. There's a fine line between persuasion and manipulation. And that's the reason why I personally don't like the word influencer or influence. I would rather people refer to me. When people say that I'm an influencer, I'm like, no, I'm not an influencer. I don't intend to be an influencer. All I intend to ever do is have an impact on people in some way. Help someone in some way by either connecting them with others, or perhaps something which I have shared, something which I'm saying, something which I have shared as content, either by video, words or a picture or something on LinkedIn, which may have perhaps lit a bulb in your head in some way. If I have been able to impact one life in any way, that's my job done. That's my legacy. So, I prefer the word impactor. But the definition of influencer, like it's got so many definitions, honestly. And the worst kind of definition is like, most social media influencers, I don't believe personally that they are showing you their real selves, because no one can be happy all the time. Simple as that. Okay. You have your bad days, you have your worst days when you feel that you really want to just go away onto a deserted island without your phone, without any internet connection, just lie there for a week, literally. And you just want to get away from it all. So I mean, social media has become so rampant in our lives that these hypes that a lot of people want to attain, which are unachievable and they are unrealistic, in my opinion. So that's my definition of influencer. I don't like the word influencer, but I don't think, honestly, you need to evaluate the person who you're following. That's it. Evaluate them, see whether they actually are walking the talk. If they walk the talk, you can call them influence. If you like that word, you call them an impactor. That's it. But don't just put someone on a pedestal just because you feel, based on their outward glory that they have around them and that aura of invincibility that some influencers have on every social media platform. I'm not just talking about LinkedIn.
Yes.
Don't just follow them blindly. Use your logic, use your rationale, use your thinking to make sure, are they actually doing themselves what they say others, or they'll tell others to do? Just ask yourself that question. Then you will know whether that person is an actual impactor or not.
I think it's a great answer, and I like also what Dr. Lapsink is saying. You're following exponentially related to your value. So it's all about values, sharing knowledge, experience. Like you said, walk the talk. Make sure you look at what the influencer, and I like that you said impactor, because influence can be bad or good. So impactor is good, having an impact on someone, even if it's one soul. If you change the life of one soul by your advice or by what you do, that's the definition of an influence. Of course, true. Nestle, of course, we cannot. The great impactor, I say here, our good friend. You're all create the edge episodes around for Joseph. Thank you, Nestle, for joining us. Mu'taz Kamil, nice Ahmed, big thinking from big heart, and well done to your partner. Thank you, Mu'taz, for joining us from Saudi Arabia. Saina, I think, is happy with your definition. Thank you, Saina, for the question. I think our friend here, Rania Nafis, you're having a great impact, dear Joseph. Thank you for joining us, everybody. It's really a great session. Just tell me, Joseph, before we go, I saw that you took time and you made me a little bit worried, and I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of your friends, you took a time off like 1 or 2 months. What happened? Was it like a burnout, or what you wanted to take some time off? And tell us about it. And is it okay because you're talking about social media and how it became part of our life? Sometimes okay to take some time off, right?
It's so important. It's so important. I talk about this all the time with regards to it's essential to sometimes just take a bit of a moment of pause to introspect and reflect. I was going through a little bit of a situation which was unexpected in a way in my personal life, and with a couple of things to do with professional life as well, which just came out of the blue. This happened, just after the first week of January this year, and I thought I was going to just take maybe a week off from LinkedIn, and it ended up being 2 months. And I didn't go on LinkedIn. I didn't interact with anyone's posts. I didn't post. However, the only thing, I used to check LinkedIn every 2 or 3 days, just my messages, because, and this is where, I mean, it really humbles me, right? After about 3 or 4 days, I started getting a steady stream of messages on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn messages, DMs, etc., or an email as well. That Joseph, are you okay? From people from around the world. Even brother, you reached out, as well, and how are you, brother? Is everything okay? And see, this is the kind of relationships that I want in my life. Okay, where I have had an impact on their lives that they actually notice my absence. Does that make sense? That is when you are an impactor. If you're just like as they say, if out of sight, out of mind. If it is out of sight, out of mind, you've had no impact on that person at all. So I was really humbled by the amount reached out to me just to ask, hey, is everything okay? You haven't posted for a while, which is very unlike you, because I used to post every day, and I've done that for 2 years, not 2 weeks, 2 years. I've been on LinkedIn every single day between 5 to 7 hours in a 24-hour period for 2.5 years, ever since I started doing LinkedIn. So that's where that consistency is required. Okay. Now, a lot of people may ask, 5 to 7 hours a day? When do you sleep? No, but think about it. First thing in the morning, when I wake up, say approximately about maybe 6:30 or so, I spend about an hour going through my notifications. That's 1 hour. In the afternoon, when I'm having lunch or something, instead of reading newspaper, I look at my LinkedIn feed. That's 2 hours. And at night, I do about 3 hours, between say 11 to 2 or 10 to 1 or something along those lines. And I've got another hour I can put in sometime in the evening. I do that. So that's 5 hours. It's all about being able to juggle things in life. It's all about being able to compartmentalize and being able to basically prioritize as you deem necessary and fit. A lot of people are, how are you on LinkedIn 5 hours and still having a full-time job? I'm like, what kind of a question is that? Like, it's all about being able to prioritize your time toward what you want to do, and that's the main thing. But consistency is absolutely key. So yeah, that's that.
Yes, consistency and doing what you love, and it's all about that. And we're happy. I'm happy that you're back posting again daily. Of course, we all value your presence on LinkedIn.
No, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. I mean, I have sort of reduced my speed a little bit though. I'm not doing about 5 to 7 hours nowadays. I'm maybe 2 to 3 hours at most at the present moment.
yeah,
But yeah, it's great. I'm sort of easing myself back into LinkedIn, and that's where I'm mentioning it's so important for us to take a bit of a pause, to introspect and reflect, because it's absolutely essential to sometimes find time for yourselves, because the answers that you seek are within you. Okay.
yes,
You can't find the answers or hone into those answers if you're in a noisy environment. Now, I'm not saying like you're at a marketplace and there are people around you. Sometimes the most amount of noise is in your own head. You can be your worst naysayer, or you can be your biggest cheerleader. The voice that you allow to be louder is the voice which invariably will determine where you reach to in life. So stop listening to those negative voices inside your own head and start, getting that positive vibe from people. Start honing into that, not just on your own, but try to be around people who are positive. And that's why it's absolutely essential, for one to take a bit of time out, because mental health, especially during this time of, global pause that we're undergoing due to the pandemic, it's absolutely essential that we look at mental health and our own sanity. That is absolutely essential. So it's important. I took 2 months off, and a lot of people ask me like, "But you're going to take 2 months off, and you're going to lose followers, and or your growth on LinkedIn is going to slow down with the followership." I was like, that is not why I'm on LinkedIn. It is not, it's not like a followership game. Okay. I'm not on LinkedIn because, I'm looking at my follower count going up by 1,000 to 1,500 followers on a daily basis. No, I disregard that completely. Yeah. If people are following me, because they find value, I appreciate that. But that actually provides me more of a responsibility to ensure that what I'm sharing is actually of value. I'm not just sharing something just for the heck of sharing, right? Because there are people who obviously, I'm not saying in a pompous or haughty manner. There are people around the world who perhaps look up to me in a way, and through my experiences or whatever. And that is where you have to be responsible. If you are trying to provide an impact in life to other people around the world, you have to be responsible about the words that you say and the actions that you do. And that is absolutely essential. So that's the reason why I took a bit of time off, because I had too much noise in my own head telling me about, or trying to drown me in its negativity in a way. So that's the reason why I just wanted to take about a week off, and it ended up being 2 months. So, and you will know when you need to take that break, and you will know when you need to come back, or when you're finished with that. And yeah, so I'm back. I'm taking it a little bit slowly, but it's great to be back. Absolutely love this platform. Love the amazing people who I've had the opportunity, the honor to obviously know and meet and interact with and collaborate with throughout these last couple of years. So yeah, it's been great. So it's absolutely essential, brother. And to everyone who's listening, focus on your mental health. Okay. I shared a post, I think a couple of days ago, and it is summarized by the amazing quote of Jet Li, where he's like, the person who's going to replace you is it's something along the lines of it's going to be so quick about the person who replaces you that it won't even take as much time for the company to replace you. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So
I remember this post.
everyone is replaceable. Everyone is replaceable in life.
Joseph, you're still here? Hello, Joseph. I think we lost
Are you there,
Joseph.
brother?
Yeah. With you. Yeah. With you now. Yeah, Joseph, you can hear me? Hello, Joseph?
Are you there?
Yes, Joseph. Yeah. It was sure a great episode. I'm so happy you're back. I'm sure a lot of people, and you're right. When we don't feel sometimes we really have responsibility that we influence a lot of people, and we must be responsible about our actions. And of course, it's great to have you. I'm sure a lot of people, we've got a lot of interactions from a lot of people. So I'm sorry if we missed any questions. We will be able to answer either me or Joseph the questions after the show. Thank you so much, everybody who joined. Thank you, Rania Nakhla, of course, for your interactive joining us with all your lovely comments. And thank you, everybody, for joining the show. Thank you, Joseph. And thank you so much, and have a good day. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who joined us. See you again soon. Thank you.
Take care,
my
friend. Have a lovely weekend, everyone, to whoever wherever you are located in the world. And thanks for the opportunity once again, Ahmed. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.